What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Show. My name's AJ Gels. How y'all doing? It is time once more for the weekly show. I believe this is episode 159. We'll be talking about some various stuff this week. Nintendo came out, kind of announced that they're going to be making some changes to the Switch. Also announcing a new model. Got some Psychonauts stuff on the Delay, Supermassive, with some stuff for the Medan, whatever the fuck it is. We got a new Morgana report to look at for Persona 5 The Royal. It's just my usual uptake on that because I love it. We got some stuff about GreedFall, the new game by Spider and Focus Home, and gameplay for Fire Emblem. Yeah, more gameplay came out this time. Some stuff on Game Informer. I don't think it's going to be anything wholly new that we haven't seen, but there's, talking over it, so maybe we can find some more stuff out, some more specific information than what we can just glean by watching. It's like 10 minutes, and I'm really pumped for Fire Emblem, so I really do want to take a look at as much gameplay here on the channel as we can. Either way, with that little intro out of the way, if you're new to this program, basically what I just talked about, basically that's what we do on the show. We sit, we read articles, we watch videos, we basically hang out, I give my opinions on video game articles and whatnot. If this week seemed like there was maybe some stories that didn't make it this week, like Final Fantasy VII maybe coming to Xbox One somewhere down the line. There was some minor Cyberpunk news. I had to cut some stories just for time reasons. I do have to start getting ready for work in a couple hours, and I just want enough time to make sure that I can edit this video, that I can edit the video and get everything set up and set to go before I have to, leave, so I can actually do this show on the day that it's supposed to come out. I know that's a novel idea for me, but either way, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I do want to say, if you've noticed that my uploads have been a little sparse lately, I'm sorry. Again, new job. I keep coming back. I hate using it as an excuse, but I really do plan on using it because I got 3 days off coming up after tonight. I really do plan on using these 3 days to really try and grab a backlog so I can I can upload more on days like this where I only have a couple hours to actually record before because I wake up at around noon and I have to be start getting ready about 4 or 5 hours later. So it's just kind of how things work. So either way, let's kick things off. We have the Nintendo Switch Lite, a new model that can't connect to TVs. Article Timur Hussein, we're starting off on GameSpot. Honestly, I'm not surprised to see this model of the Switch come out. I really kind of thought this. We've been hearing rumors about a purely handheld model of the Switch for a little while now. And again, like I said, I'm not terribly surprised. Nintendo has always been really big in the handheld market, so I'm not surprised that they're trying to move back into that route with the handheld market, especially because the Switch didn't so much sell well with that group. They prefer their DS, something that's a little more durable, that, it's more... Well, nothing is as durable as those Game Boy SPs. If anybody, Game Boy Advance SPs, the clamshell device, you just throw that in your backpack and let it just beat the shit. Man, dude, those things were awesome. But but the DS and everything, they can. I've seen those things take a beating, so they're pretty durable. But I would be way more careful with my Switch than anything else. Plus, the Switch is, I think it's the perfect size for what it is, kind of that halfway point between a handheld and a home console. I think it's that perfect size. So basically what I've been able to glean from the Switch Lite, it's going to be a smaller model, runs at lower frame rates and everything, but again, it's more for a handheld experience. And I think that's a good move on their part. It's like I keep coming back to, if I just seem like I've just kind of rambled through a few points there, what I keep coming back to is just how Nintendo's dominated the handheld market. I think they're trying to more appease that group. I still wish the PS Vita would make a comeback, but whatever. Article reads, it's been rumored for some time that Nintendo would announce one or more new versions of the Nintendo Switch. With no warning, Nintendo has decided that mid-July was the right time to reveal just such a thing, as Nintendo has announced a new Switch model, and it releases quite soon. The Nintendo Switch Lite is a leaner version of the existing Switch model that sacrifices some features. The most notable point of distinction is its inability to output video to a TV. This is a handheld only, rather than a hybrid that can be played on the go or on an external display. God, I cannot read. Despite that, it will still bear the Switch name and the references this functionality in the original system. One more time, these concessions, there we go, lead to a price that's $100 less than the original model. Switch Lite sells for $200 in the US. It releases on September 20th in a trio of colors, with a special edition Pokemon version arriving in November. If it feels soon for a new model, bear in mind this was a longer wait than with other Nintendo systems. The Switch Lite features a 5.5-inch screen that displays a resolution of 720p. This shrinks the screen down slightly from the original Switch's 6.2-inch size, and the overall size of the system is smaller as well. Battery life is also said to be improved, lasting as much as 6 hours, depending on the game. So again, looking at this, again, I totally see that this is shooting more for the handheld. I'm gonna guess it's still gonna be bigger than my my Vita. I never noticed how small my Vita was until I played my Switch. But even looking at it in their hands, it doesn't look like it's a whole hell of a lot larger than the Vita. Maybe it's about the same size, and I'm overestimating how large the Switch is. But either way, as you can also see, it looks like the Joy-Con idea is completely gone. So it's all one solid piece. You know, you don't pull the Joy-Con controls off of the screen either. The headphone port is still there. Bluetooth headset support has not been added, sadly, and the button layout is largely unchanged. However, the Switch Lite is no longer has detachable Joy-Con controllers. Furthermore, the Switch Lite will not have rumble or the IR motion sensors. Joy-Con controllers can still be connected to the Switch Lite wirelessly, which will be necessary to allow certain Switch games to work on Lite. I believe stuff like I believe Breath of the Wild has certain puzzles that you actually have to use the directional or the motion control on the Switch. Nintendo has swapped out these 4 small buttons that serve as the directional inputs on the Joy-Con for a traditional D-pad on the left side. Now that those buttons don't need to double as face buttons when a Joy-Con is used horizontally. Oh, that makes... Okay, I've always kind of wondered why they didn't have the D-pad. Okay, yeah, I guess I can't believe I never thought of that, because when it is used horizontally, I guess, yeah, it does have to be used as face buttons. Sorry, I'm losing my mind here, but I guess I just never realized that's why the Switch's D-pad is set up the way it is. I've never liked that feature. I would prefer a D-pad, but that's just me. One other thing to consider is that Nintendo Labo, that's still a thing. I do not know one person who has used the Nintendo Labo. No, I don't know one person. I was thinking maybe I do, but no, I don't know anyone who's ever used a Nintendo Labo. I think that idea, just you're buying cardboard and shit, it looks dumb to me. Which allows users to build peripherals using cardboard. Won't work since the Switch Lite is smaller. The other games will need to support handheld mode in order to function. Titles like 1-2 Switch and Super Mario Party will require you to purchase standard Joy-Cons in order to play them. There will be a link in the description along with timestamps and everything, so if you want to follow these hyperlinks, you can. The Switch Lite is matte plastic, and according to CNET, which had a chance to go hands-on with it, has a quote, solid feel, reminded me a lot of a recent Nintendo 2DS XL handheld. No detachable Joy-Cons means the sides of the Switch don't flex or creak as much either, end quote. When the Switch Lite launches on September 20th, it will be available in gray, yellow, and turquoise, a limited edition Pokemon-themed design that has etchings on an off-white case will arrive alongside Pokemon Sword and Shield, though it will not include the game as part of the bundle. Then what's the point of having the branded one? Whatever. I'll kind of scroll through these so you can kind of pause and read the specs as you'd like. There we go. Reports of a new Switch models being in production surface in June. At the time, Nintendo said it would not announce the new systems during E3, and they stuck to their guns on that. Reports have indicated that 2 new Nintendo Switch models are in the works. The first, a less expensive iteration with pared down features, we know is the Switch Lite. However, it has also been reported that an enhanced version of the Switch targeted at avid gamers is also in production. Nintendo has not indicated this is the case, and there are far fewer rumors, reports, and early rumblings relating to this more powerful version that there was for the Switch Lite. And speaking of that more powerful versions, Nintendo's changes to the original Switch could give it an improved battery life and performance. Article on IGN, if I could find the author, by Matt Kim. We'll read the update second. While all eyes are on the new Nintendo Switch Lite, Nintendo has quietly has quietly made a request to make some changes to the original Nintendo Switch. These changes include a new chip and processor that could theoretically improve the performance of the original Switch. As reported by The Verge, Nintendo submitted a new filing to the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, requesting permission to alter an existing device. In this case, to make changes to FCC ID BKEHAC001, wow, that was hard, which refers to the original Nintendo Switch. Nintendo requested a Class 2 permissive change in order to update the system on-chip SoC, NAND, oh my god, my brain hurts now, memory type, and CPU board. This means Nintendo is looking to at least update the NVIDIA Tegra processor on the Switch's SoC for a newer one. And again, you can pause and read that if you would like, if you find documents from the FCC interesting. Here's the thing. A new chip could mean a host of minor improvements, or it could mean nothing much at all. Nintendo's existing Tegra X1 processor is hardly outdated, but a new chip could be necessary for manufacturing and cost reasons. Nintendo Switch performance enhancements, ? However, that doesn't rule out small performance enhancements. Either a new chip could speed up games, decrease load times, and improve battery life. That's the thing that really gets me about the Switch when I use it in handheld. Because oddly enough, I found that some games actually work a little better in handheld. For instance, Breath of the Wild, I actually think runs really well in handheld mode. But when I hook it up to my TV, I get some weird lag. But again, the problem is, it's the battery life problem. So if they can improve that, I mean, I'm not going to drop another $300 just for some minor increase to my battery life, but still, it is a pain. Nintendo already proved it can get better performance out of Nintendo Switch games after releasing a boost mode update following the release of Nintendo Labo VR, so there's still room for improvement on the original Switch models. The timing of the chip update also coincides with the announcement of the Nintendo Switch Lite. Nintendo confirmed to The Verge that the Switch Lite will use a new, more powerful, efficient chip layout that slightly improves battery life, so there's a chance Nintendo's FCC filing means older Switch consoles will be getting a similar chip as well. In comparisons to the Switch. All right, let's pop up here. Known hacker and data miner Mike Heskin has posted a lengthy Twitter thread detailing what they know about the upcoming revision of the original Nintendo Switch based on the previous dives into the Switch's operating system. In their thread, Heskin reports that the revised T214 units, which is the upcoming revised Switch and not the Switch Lite, features 4GB or 8GB LPDDR4XX DRAM. My brain hurts already. With planned support for 10nm chips, and quote, this should translate to a small battery longevity boost and potentially a modest performance boost thanks to the new GM20B GPU. Oh my god, I have no idea. From a technical standpoint, I have no fucking clue what any of that means. That's kind of why I'm not sitting here doing a whole lot of commentary. This is a very tech-heavy article that I want you guys to be able to, for any of you out there who really like that stuff to, be able to see. But goddamn, I have no idea what any of that means. These details are not officially from Nintendo, so we'll have to see just how much changes once the revised Switch models officially enter retail. But you can see all of Heskin's findings in their Twitter thread below. And again, follow the link down in the description to the article to find that. Man. I said this during E3 when Microsoft was showing off their new the Project Scarlet or whatever, and going into all the technical shit. And I'm just sitting here going, look, just tell me faster load times. Don't go into the processors and this. At least for me, look, I get some people enjoy that stuff, but I think a lot, I don't know, maybe I'm underestimating people. Maybe I'm thinking people are too much like me in this situation, but I feel like a lot of people would just go, God damn it, just tell me what it's going to do. Instead of going into all this. I mean, granted, that'd be a much shorter presentation, but I kind of liked what PlayStation did with the PS5, where they showed they showed Insomniac's Spider-Man game running on a PS5 or a PS4 and what would be the PS5 tech, and and just showed them load, just ran the load times, and the PS5 one just went, I think it was like under 2 seconds. Was the load screen, and the PS4 was still still had like another, I think, like 30 seconds to load. It was impressive. You got to give them credit for that. And again, it's show not tell sort of situation there. So, all right, moving on to a game that I have very little interest in, but maybe it's because I didn't, and I'm going to be entirely honest here, and people are going to look at me like I'm nuts. I didn't play the first Psychonauts. I know so many people who love Psychonauts. I know it's a super popular franchise. I don't know, man. Those old Matt Scott platformers. I mean, I love my Sly Cooper and whatnot, but for the most part, I was not a big into Matt Scott platformers back in the day. I don't know can I play Psychonauts? I'm pretty sure I can play Psychonauts on the PS4, right? If anybody can give me a yes/no on that, I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a shot. If maybe I'll play Psychonauts 2 in 2020, and we'll play Psychonauts on the channel, but either way, that's for the future. On to the actual article here, which is Psychonauts 2 has been delayed to 2020. Article by Eddie Makuch of GameSpot. Psychonauts 2 will not release in 2019 as planned. Developer Double Fine, which was recently acquired by Microsoft, has announced that the adventure game is shifting to 2020. The news was announced in a post to Fig, the crowdfunding website, where the game raised $3.9 million in funding back in 2016. In that post, Double Fine said that the delay, while it's tough, is the right thing to do to make Psychonauts 2 a better game. Quote, we're not targeting a next year for release. We know I'll try that one more time. And I quote, we're now targeting next year for release. We know it's always disappointing when you have to wait a bit longer, but we also know that you are an amazing supportive bunch who, just like us, want the game to be as good as possible. So we're hopeful you'll understand, end quote, Double Fine said. Jesus Christ. Some days I can read, some days I apparently can't. Double Fine also confirmed in the blog post that despite being bought by Microsoft, the studio will still honor Psychonauts 2 release on every promised platform. That means the game will still come to PlayStation 4. It's also coming to Xbox One and PC. While you have to wait until 2020 to play Psychonauts 2, Double Fine's next game, the 3D action roguelike game called Rad, will release on August 20th for console and PC. The game is published by Bandai Namco. Like I said, I hear great things about Psychonauts. I'm sorry, to those of you who have to wait for Psychonauts 2. It's also, like I said, if Psychonauts 1 is available on PS4, somebody let me know. I'm 90% sure it is, but again, I don't have the time to go look for it, and I'll forget in about 20 minutes. Moving on to an article on the PlayStation blog. Supermassive confirms multiplayer for the man of Medan. I'm still going with Medan. They've said it before and I've already forgotten. And here's how it works. See, this is super interesting to me because, again, I love Supermassive. I loved what they did with Until Dawn, and I'm really curious about about the Dark Pictures anthology, the sort of like shorter narrative sort of adventure games that they're going, especially with Medan. I think it's going to be really cool. I think they also did something for that. It was a feature for the PlayStation that nobody's gone into for a very long time. It was that your phone becomes the controller. It's like PlayLink, I think was what it was called. I think Supermassive did a game for that, which I can't remember what it's called. It was a detective game. Looked interesting. I kind of wanted to give it a shot. I just could never find it anywhere. So either way, I'm getting off track here. Either way, I'm a fan of Supermassive, and just taking a game like this and somehow doing it with multiplayer, I think could be really interesting. Again, it's kind of what that detective game is, kind of a multiplayer game as well. So I'm curious to see how it's going to work within the Dark Pictures. So let's see here. This is article this is on the PlayStation blog. Pete Samuels, who is the series director and executive producer at Supermassive. Hi there, I'm Pete Samuel, series director and executive producer of the Dark Pictures anthology. We're thrilled to announce multiplayer from Man of Medan and the entire Dark Pictures anthology, and I'm hugely excited to talk about it today. As we announced last year, the Dark Pictures anthology is a series of standalone cinematic horror games, each featuring a brand new story, setting, and characters. Man of Medan is the first in the series, releasing on August 30th. We hope you're as excited as us that you'll be able to play every game in the series in multiplayer. First up, some details. We've announced 2 multiplayer modes for the Dark Pictures anthology, Shared Story Mode and Movie Night Mode. In Shared Story, you'll play online with a friend, making choices that affect both of you. We really hope you enjoy the intensity of the experience, the story with a friend, and that you are still friends after. I want to make sure I'm reading this correctly. All right, Shared Story, you'll play online with a friend, making choices that affect both of you. So does that mean you're making your choices independently? Because that could be cool, where you're playing as 2 separate characters, both making different decisions that maybe you could screw with the other one. You could do this. That could be really interesting. You could also probably tailor make some really cool dialogue moments. Again, I'm kind of guessing, but that's interesting. So I'm guessing this is a picture. Okay, so while one player's down here with this character underwater, the other's up here watching this. So that's almost reminiscent of what we saw. I'm trying to think what it's called. Similar to what we saw in A Way Out, a game that I still need to play. I've never gotten around to it. I had some friends that we wanted to do it, then I left school and just shit never lined up. But really interesting way of doing that, where one player is seeing something totally different from the other player. I really like that idea, and I think that could actually create some really neat moments for a game like this. In movie night mode, 5 people, you and up to 4 of your friends, can play couch co-op. Each player can enter their name and choose which character or characters to play, then simply pass the pad whenever the character is the focus of the game. You can explore, react, and make decisions to keep your character alive and stay in the game. When prompted, simply pass the controller on to the next player so that they can continue with their character. Periodically, the game will present a summary of how each player has played. We were so impressed by the innovative and collaborative ways people played Until Dawn together that we created this feature to help facilitate the way of playing. See, that doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense to me, because I don't think you need a dedicated mode for that. Can't you just say me and 4 of my friends, I'm like, okay, I'm going to play this guy. Okay, I played that chapter. Here you go, guy. Okay, who's playing the next guy? All right, here's the controller. Now they play it. I feel like you could just easily do this with just talking to your friends and just handing each other the controller. I don't think you need a dedicated mode for it, but whatever. I'm not gonna say it's a bad idea. I'm just saying it seems a little overly complicated when you could just decide that for your friends. Creating a narrative game with multiplayer has thrown up some interesting design challenges. The most significant of which was in the 2-player shared story, and how to have both players enjoy a great story when they each see different things and neither sees everything. It also created some great new design and narrative opportunities, which we hope will surprise you when you and your friends split up. You can't be sure that you'll ever see their character again. It is horror, after all. Excuse me, sorry about that. We think that it really brings something fresh to the genre to play with a friend online, and we couldn't be more pleased with the results. Each mode is different, but both have been influenced by our experience with Until Dawn. When Until Dawn released, we were surprised and delighted by how many people were streaming the game. We had around 1 billion views on YouTube alone. We also get plenty of people telling us how much they enjoyed playing the game together with friends on the couch. These both fed into the initial design of the Dark Pictures anthology, and we decided that along with story, characters, and cinematic production values, multiplayer should be the core of the series. In short, we have built the Dark Pictures anthology from the ground up with multiplayer in mind. Your first chance to try this out will be in the Medan, the first series. The game sees 4 American tourists and their inexperienced captain going on the diving holiday of a lifetime in the South Pacific. All sounds idyllic, right? Wrong. Things soon take a turn for the worse, and it will be up to you what happens next. With Medan having more branching than any of our having more branching than any of our previous games, you'll need to replay the game many times to find out every possible scenario. Whether you play solo, online shared story, or couch-based movie night, we hope you'll have a great horror experience. We can't wait to see and hear how you get on. My advice, don't play alone. Well, technically I'll be playing alone. I'll be playing alone in the moment, but you all will be there with me in spirit. No, I'm really excited for this game, and I really like the idea of this what is it called? Like the shared story mode. I think that's really interesting, how both players can play something totally different, and again, seeing different things. That's really cool. I still think movie night is redundant, but overall, I like this idea that they're trying to bring in this sort of kind of play it with friends kind of idea, that it's not just, hey, sit there and play. It's not just one guy plays. It reminds me of just back in the day, like what I used to do with friends. Me and a buddy of mine, we played through like BioShock. Like, I've never been a BioShock fan. I think I loved Infinite, but like the first BioShock, it just scared the shit out of me, and I've just never been able to go back and play it. I mean, even now, I want to play it on the channel because I played Infinite, but at the same time, I'm like, God damn it, I just don't want to. It freaks me out, man. But so I sat and watched him play. Like we said, we listened to music, played video games, and just talked and had fun. It was the thing we did, as friends. I still remember those days playing Gears of War, just like we played the entire trilogy in just like one weekend once. It was awesome. I know I shared that story multiple times, but it's like one of my favorite gaming memories. at least that involves other people. And, I mean, hell, the way I played Until Dawn, I literally played, the first time I played that game, I played it all in one sitting. Just, well, maybe not one sitting, because I did get up and take breaks. But, I played it in one night. I played it with my girlfriend sitting behind me, girlfriend at the time sitting behind me. She was, like, wrapped up in a blanket, like, freaking out. I'm like, I loved Until Dawn. The whole, like, is it like supernatural? Is it man-made? Is it what the hell's going on? It was a really cool game. I liked Until Dawn. But yeah, I really do like how they're kind of one of the few times I'll say I actually like how they are trying to push the whole community, the community aspect of video games. And again, I if you're gonna push multiplayer, I like that you try and push couch co-op. That it's not this online with just some random dude. No, it's with people with friends, with people that in your daily life, that you're gonna sit down, you're gonna play something and hang out. I like couch co-op more than I like anything else. That's really cool to me. So, all right. Either way, that's enough. That's enough me rambling here. Let's move on. We got an article here on Destructoid. I'm gonna close that ad because ads annoy the shit out of me. Let's see here. New Morgana report looks at Persona 5 Royal's showtime mechanics and the Kichijoji district. There we go. Article Chris Moyes of Destructoid. I do apologize for that. Your favorite bubble-domed kitty, Morgana, is back with another edition of Morgana's Report, taking a look at some of the new features, mechanics, locations, and characters that feature in Atlus's upcoming Persona 5 Royal. First up, we now have an official name for the double team moves featured in the recent character trailers. Showtime maneuvers are unlocked once confidant bonds have been deepened and allow the Phantom Thieves to team up for stylish and cinematic attacks. Baton Pass has also received a boost, and playing darts in the real world can add extra bonuses to your Baton Pass attacks in battle. How's Baton Pass affected by playing darts? That one doesn't make sense to me. Including the ability to cause extra damage or regain SP. Totally lost my train of thought here. No, I like the idea of these team-up attacks because as every confidant in the original game had or at least the ones that you brought, your confidants of your party members, they all had moves that, you hit an enemy and you have like a random % chance that one of them will say, do a follow-up attack, or somebody will maybe clear a status effect for a member, or they'll help somebody who was downed earlier and is now, subject to getting critted or something. It's something, just a little extra stuff. There was always a percentage chance after your character attacked that something, that a follow-up action would happen. So I think that's what this is going on. At least they're just going to make it a little bit more cinematic and a little more tailor-made to each individual character and the different combinations. Again, kind of a guess, but who knows? In fact, all the activities in new area Kichijoji influence the aforementioned darts, as well as playing billiards and lounging in other areas will have a positive effect on your future wars and mementos and palaces, including raising base stats, adding XP to your equipped personas, or reducing the cost of attacks. Elsewhere in Kichijoji, the Phantom Thieves can visit a jazz bar, a temple, or an antique store where armor can be sold or traded for new goodies. Just don't use it to pull a prank. One of the more curious concerns of Persona 5 Royal's new story elements is the worrying addition of new surprises that seem at risk of upsetting the dramatic drive of the original narrative. Morgana addresses this in the video, noting that although, quote, a new chapter will unfold, unquote, in Persona 5 Royal, care has been taken to preserve the original Persona 5 story. We shall see. Persona 5 Royal launches on PS4 in Japan October 31st and is heading to the West in 2020. Now, I really trust Atlus. I think that... because I mean, really, this is going to be a new game. This isn't going to be like when they launched Persona 3 FES. I've said this before. 3 FES, had the additional 30-hour epilogue story added where you played as I think her name was Aegis, but I have not played 3 in a while, so I could be remembering her name wrong. You played as the robot girl. 4 had Golden, which added some new features, but still, as far as I know, the game was largely the same. But Royal looks to be almost an entirely different game. It's going to be the same story, but they're retooling it, adding a new character, making it longer. And I think they're really going to add, from what I even heard, the character of Akechi, the detective who's that annoying piece of shit in Persona 5. He gets a lot more character in Royal. So I think that it's really going to make the story a little more meaty and really make it longer. I have no doubt that Atlas is really going to do something really cool here with Royal. And I just I decided to pop in with this because I wanted to share more Persona stuff with other people like me who are really pumped for the game. So, all right, let's move on to an article on PC Gamer. Feast your eyes on the GreedFall release date trailer. We'll actually take a look at the trailer after we, as soon as okay. Sorry, I'm just making sure that these ads aren't playing over my voice. Article Andy Chalk, like I said, on PC Gamer. I have middling hopes for Spider's upcoming RPG, GreedFall. On one hand, it's built on a conventional but still risky concept, colonization, that could lead into genuinely interesting and morally complex stories that haven't really been told before. But on the other hand, Spider's is one of the most consistently 6 out of 10 studios in the business, with stuff like Technomancer, Bound by Flame, Mars Warlogs, Grey Matter, Buck the Trend. But it's an adventure. Its games aren't bad, generally speaking, but they're rough. As Fraser put it, they typically don't live up to their ambitions, end quote. See, I think that's exactly right. I think Technomancer was really cool, but I think it just didn't... It was one of those, I saw what you were going for, but I just... How to put it? I saw what you were going for, but I don't think they accomplished it. And I really do hope that they can nail it with GreedFall. Because like I said, I think Spiders has some really cool ideas. And GreedFall looks like a really neat... It's a really neat concept for the game, again, with colonization. I'm trying to remember exactly what the full-on plot for GreedFall was, but again, it really seems to have a neat idea, especially with how you as the player influence not only the story but the world around you. So I'm really curious. We'll find out if GreedFall can break the pattern on September 10th, which Spider announced. Excuse me. Is when its latest efforts will go live. There's also a new trailer that lays out some dramatic visuals and teases the inevitability of conflict between the old world and the new, brought about by disease, the ravaging by the motherland, and the promise of a cure, maybe on the mystic island of Tirfredi. Hopefully that's correct. Quote, joining your cousin, Governor Constantine d'Orsay, along with various factions with their own directives and hidden agendas, journey into a world seeping with magic. Will you align yourself with one of the new colonies or join the natives in their struggle for liberty? End quote. The video is combat heavy, but Spiders said that stealth, diplomacy, dialogue, and even your choice of companions can all have an impact on outcomes. Player freedom, quote, player freedom and choice are core to GreedFall, as your decisions will build friendships, break alliances, diffuse conflicts, and shape the future of the island, end quote, the studio said. So I hope Spiders can deliver off an engaging tale laced with difficult, complex moral choices, and by not actually expecting that it will, I'll be very pleasantly surprised if it does. There we go. It's a win-win. September 10th is when it all happens, and before that, you can dive deeper in it at greedfall.com. No, I think Chalk's right here. I think GreedFall. I think there's every possibility that this game falls completely flat on its face. But I don't know. Maybe I'm being too optimistic here, but I really like the concept. Like I said, I liked Technomancer. The problem was it's like he said, it's rough. It wasn't bad, but it was really rough and kind of hard to play. So I'm really hoping that we don't see that with GreedFall. I really hope that they can not only nail the gameplay, but they can also really deliver on this idea that they're talking about. So that's just my hope. But we're gonna make a quick cut and let's hop in with the GreedFall trailer. All right, guys. Sorry about the weird cut right there. As you can see, we're not at the video. I don't know what's going on with my software, but from what I'm not getting audio popping up on my screen here. Normally, I would just kind of end the video, double check, make sure everything's working, and make sure that the audio isn't messed up. Run into a small problem. I don't have time to run this video through my other software and put everything together before I actually have to leave to work, and I want to get this video up today. So here's what we're going to do. We are just going to close here. I will link to that GreedFall trailer, and you know what? We'll probably do that gameplay video for Fire Emblem on another day. That's at least the plan for now. I apologize for this, guys. It's like I said, it's just I run it. I'm in a time issue right now, so we're going to close here. Thank you for watching, everybody. Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com, links, all that stuff is down in the description below. Please tell me what you thought about the video. Tell me what you guys thought about the individual articles. Always happy to hear from you guys. If you have suggestions for articles to cover before next week's show, please send me links either in the comments of this video, send me links on Twitter, send me links on any of the social media down in the description, like I also said. Every article will also be linked in the description, so you can check any of that stuff out. Other than that, that's about it. Like, comment, not already, please subscribe to the channel, and until next time, my name's AJ Gels. This is Something Game Channel. I'm out.